Okay, we have the Fichet-Bauche M3B. I had just picked it. Took 22 minutes, which was too long for me, and the tensioner flew out, and I thought it wasn't picked, and all kinds of stuff. Well, anyways, this key has an interactive element here, and I believe that's how it differs from the M2B. The interactive one here, the lever in it doesn't have a lot of play. You just have to kind of push it on my one. It does rotate a little, but for the most part, I haven't noticed anything other than having to push it. Whereas the other ones, they have this bar on the key, and that determines how far you have to push the lever down, like the depth. And then this cut section here, this kind of angled section, will actually rotate the lever to different. See, this one rotates it different than this one. And so to rotate it, I kind of go this way, and then I push up and down. So you want to rotate it first, and then push it down to the right depth. When they get to the right depth, they have a lot of play. They get very wiggly. Here's the key. There we go. And to pick this, you'd have to pick it 8 times to rotate full 360. But I think what I would do, like I did with the van lock and whatnot, is just pick it like one between stages, and now it's basically decoded. Everything's at the right depth and rotation, and then at that point somehow impression a key. But that's beyond the scope of this. So let's go ahead and apply some tension. We'll put this here. This tensioner is just like a cut like this, like a hook, to clear the kind of brass outer housing, and put tension here on the plug inside, like that. And then for pick, I just have this kind of L shape, so I can push, and I can also rotate the individual levers. So let's go ahead, and I'll call this top right one number 1, and it is binding actually. So I'm going to rotate it, and then I'm going to push it down, and it gets a lot of play. So let's go on to the next one. I know number 2 comes really late just from having just picked it. 3, all right, a little bit something from it. 4 is binding. All right, rotate and then push down, and it's very wiggly. 5, and you're gonna have, and then I'm gonna go. Well, let's check the interactive element. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the interactive, but then my tensioner, I can barely get to 7, and I definitely can't get to 6 because the tensioner's in the way. But I'll go back to 1, which is binding again. So you're gonna find yourself going back and forth very frequently. All right, so it's wiggly again. So I like that. I'll leave that there. 2, nothing. I know that's not going to come till much later. 3 is a problem child on this lock. All right, it seems to be very sloppy on its feedback. 4 is binding pretty tight. It's good again. 5, nothing. Back to 1 again. Actually, the interactive. Push that guy up. Yeah. 1, binding again. Okay. 2, I know nothing. 3, I'm going to leave alone because he's pretty problematic. 4 is okay. 5 is okay. Actually, I will touch 3 then. It seems to be binding. Okay. 1. Seems slightly binding. Okay. 1 feels okay. Just want to get them quite ideal. 3, again, problem. 4, slight binding. Let's push the interactive again just for giggles. Go back to 1. There we go. Just slight binding. Just kind of wiggling them down into place. 3 again. Okay. 4, okay. 5, nothing. Back to 1 again. I want to keep doing this until 1 feels like it's that wiggly set feeling isn't binding at all, and then I'll switch tension or location. 3, okay. 4, okay. Interactive. 1. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and swap. We'll put the tensioner here. Let go carefully there. I'll grab it from behind so you guys can see. All right, so this one, no. 6, 7, no. Interactive. 4, no. 5, no. 6 feels like it's binding now. Okay, 7. Not really anything out of 7. Interactive. I can actually reach 1 from here, so let's go ahead and check 1. He feels like it's binding, actually. I was hoping he'd be wiggly. Okay. When I pushed that one down, I saw 6 pop back up. 6 is not binding, though. 7 is now. A little tiny bit. Check the interactive again. 4, nothing. 5, nothing. 6, nothing. 7 binding. Okay, 7's wiggly. 5, 6 binding. Very lightly, though. 4, 5, nothing. Check that 1 again. 1 feels like it's binding again. Okay, it's wiggly again. Interactive, we'll just push. 4, nothing. 5, nothing. 6 binding. Okay. Check 4 again. 4 might have been lightly binding. 7 is good. Interactive, just a push. 1. We're binding again on 1. Okay. 4 is okay. 5, nothing. 6, binding. Okay. 7, nothing. Push the interactive. 1. Okay, 1 is wiggly, so that's a good sign. It didn't bind up this time. 4 is okay. 5 is nothing. 6 is a little bit of binding, but barely. 7, nothing. 4, a little bit of binding. 5 is, yeah, it's not binding. 6 is okay. 4 is okay. We'll go ahead and switch back on our sides. Check on that number 2 I haven't touched yet. Try not to drop anything while I'm switching sides. Okay, let's check on that number 2 I haven't touched yet. Yep. Maybe not yet. He's lightly binding, maybe. Problem child 3. Nope. 4. Nope. 5. Okay. 5 might have been binding slightly. Push that interactive just for good measure. 7's set. 1 is wiggly. 2 feels like it's binding. Okay. 3. 3 is the... Okay, maybe. No, 3 doesn't feel good. I don't like number 3. Maybe I can get a pass on just one pin. Oh, on one lever. That'll be number 3. I'll just skip them and hope he's okay. 1 is okay. I mean, 2 feels like it's okay. 1 feels okay. All right. So since I got 2 here, since I think 1's probably okay, I'm going to use 1 for tension now. I saw 4 move up when I did that. So let's start with 4. Not really anything from 4 though. 4 doesn't feel like it's binding. 5's not binding. 7 feels like it's binding. Okay, go back to 4. 4 is now binding. Kind of. Very light binding. 5, nothing. 7, nothing. I'll push the interactive for good measure. 3. Oh. 3 might be doing something, but he's kind of hard to get to. 3 might be binding really hard. Okay, 3 is better now. 4 is binding. Okay. 5, still nothing. 6, a little bit of binding. 7 set. Tap the interactive. 2. 2 feels set. 3. 3 feels set. 4, light binding. No, yeah, fairly heavy binding. 5, still nothing. 6, maybe a light bind that I broke out of. Go back to 4, nothing. 3. 3's fine, I think. 2 seems fine. Touch the interactive for good measure. 4, no. 5. Oh, okay, good. 5 is finally binding. This might be good news. Okay, 5 feels set, or rather, until it has to be touched again. Okay, 7, 8 feel good. 4 might have been binding lightly. 5 feels fine. Interactive feels fine. 3 feels fine. 2 feels fine. All right, one last time before I switch tension back. Well, 4 feels like it's binding again. So I'm not going to switch tension until I don't get that effect on this side. Touch the interactive for good measure. 3, 4, 5, 4. Oh, we're getting there. Something just really moved. Okay, and there's the open on touching 6. So how do we know we're open? You can see that if I were to rotate this, you can see that all the in between have gone into there, and you can rotate this. Well, actually, I'll do it with the tensioner maybe. You can see those rotate in there, and I will rotate it. So if I go to the right, I'll go back to lock position, but I'll go to the next, and you can see that there's going to be the solid part from the interactive is going to now be on that pin 7 location. So I'll just keep going. Locked it up there, and you can see that on the pin 7 location here, it's now blocked by the piece that was formerly under the interactive area. So that's there. On the back, I have a mark. There's the locked position, and it's gone 1 position. You got to do it 7 more times to get it fully opened. Anyways, we'll go ahead and look at the inside, because the inside's pretty neat on this thing too. I had to switch monitors to that thing because my other one died, unfortunately. Anyhow, there's that. Bring in some tools. Let's get this down here. There we go. That should be fine. Take out some screws back here. So that plate holds the plug in. So now we can take the plug out, and you can put it back into any lock position you want. You'll see that the inside of this housing has a groove here, and this is the groove that these little notches, the levers that stick out the side here, they have to be pushed down to that level to go into that groove. But additionally, you see there's like this kind of boarding here, and what that's going to stop is when you, let's flip this over so I can get a pick in here. When you push down on a lever, right? Where is it? When you push down a lever, see it goes up and down, but you can maybe also see if I rotate too far, you see the top of the thing came out, and if I don't rotate it far enough, let's see a good example here maybe. You can see that the bottom piece sticks out there, right? So there's that. You have to push it down, and then you got to rotate it until it's right, but not too far. And additionally, in up here, you can see if you don't push it out, then this inside part is going to get caught on that bit there. So you need to push that out and get this piece basically lined up with the inside and the outside. Everything needs to be lined up in order to allow this to rotate. So if I were to put this back in here, it gets stuck. You can put the key in, and then you can rotate it freely. All right, so let's see what that looks like real quick here. If I put the key in here, I don't know why it's a little bit hard to put the key in if you don't have the housing on. I think what's happening is the housing on pushes these all down slightly and gives the key some space to work. Is that what's going on? Yeah. So anyways, with the key in, you can see they're all now to the same height and rotation. All right, let's get into this thing before we run out of camera time. Get that out of the way. Get the other bit in here for these screws, because they use different size bits. And unfortunately, I munged one of the springs in here, taking it apart before, which shouldn't happen if you're careful, obviously. But that comes off, and when you pull that up, all your springs are sticking out. The one spring I messed up, you can see this guy here. But basically, when you're putting it back together, you stick these little posts, the springs into these posts, and then you can't get them munged up like that. But I had done it like this, where that spring wasn't in, and that's how that ended up like that. And then it's back together. So, in any case, let's go ahead and take these out. I'll put 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and Dig's tray doesn't have enough, so I'll just put this number 1 up top. 1. All right, lever 1 is different, so I'll start with 8, I guess. So lever 8 right here. There's the lever. The key is stuck in the housing. Can only come out one way. There we go. The key is going to align right here. Okay, so it's going to push down. That's not number 8. This is number 8 here. So this will line up like that. So it's going to push it down, and then it's going to rotate into place like that. It rotates around this. This hole, which has a ball bearing in it. So there's a ball bearing right here, and this ball bearing is in that hole, and that's what allows it to go up and down and rotate around or pivot around that ball bearing. So that was number 8. So I'll go over here. Put that way around. 7. 6. First time I tried putting this back together, I had a hard time with number 1, and I'll show you why. I was trying to overdo it. What a neat thing is, I don't know if you can see that there, the ball bearing lands in that spot. I'll show you with the next lever I pull out. So if you take the next, this is not a good example, actually number 2 is a better example, because it's facing us, otherwise it would have been facing away. So if I reach down here to grab that, as I pull this out, that ball bearing falls into like a little holder there, which is useful. Okay, if you get these mixed up, I don't know. I think that'd be really tricky to figure out. I haven't mixed them up yet, so maybe it's not as tricky as I think, but I don't know, it just seems tricky. All right, the first one has 2 ball bearings in it. I can't even reach down and grab it the same way I can the other wafers. It's been a long time since I took this one out. So you see there's a ball bearing here and there's a ball bearing here. This ball bearing goes on top of the wafer there. So, and then the other one's in the standard place inside the hole. But I was, for whatever reason, trying to put this ball bearing underneath like that. It just seemed like that would, but it actually goes into this top groove here. So don't do what I did, because you won't get it in. It has to go that way. You won't get it in the other way, and you'll spend forever. Okay. Not much to see here. You know, it's got that shape for the interactive is the top one. And here are our levers for the lever reveal. So no false gates or anything like that, but it doesn't need it. It's pretty tricky as it is. But that's the Fichet-Bauche M3B. Thanks.